Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Reckless Paradise podcast. I am your host, Dystro, and tonight's episode is another breakdown episode, but this one is of the Fall Out Boy variety. It is over one of their least kind of popular albums of this time period. It is over MANIA. So, this one kind of going into it, it's not very popular, like I said. When me and Marissa had listened to all the Fall Out Boy albums a few years ago. We did not like this one hardly at all. There was some good songs here and there. There was like maybe three in particular that we liked, but everything else was just kind of eh. But I'm gonna try to give it kind of a fair shot. But it's like don't criticize me to be it put it higher or anything. Because when we did the rankings and all that stuff, this was like very, very at the bottom, and rightfully so. So, with that being said, let's go right into this, shall we? So we have the first track is called "Stay Frosty Royal Milk Tea." This one's kind of a curveball, a little bit. But the lyrics of this are not explicitly about a beverage or a specific type of tea, but rather staying calm and alert in the face of adversity. In fact, the term "stay frosty" is used in a military context to like remaining to be cool or meaning to remain cool but alert. But the royal milk tea part of it is a playful reference to a popular Japanese drink, possibly in a way to add a bit of whimsy to the song's theme. So, like for instance, like "stay frosty," the phrase is used in a military context to remain cool but under pressure, but also be alert and aware. In the song, it's used metaphorically to encourage listeners to stay focused and resilient, even when facing challenges, which fair enough. But the royal milk tea part of it, while the song doesn't directly specific or reference a specific beverage, royal milk tea is a popular Japanese drink that's rich and creamy. The band's bassist Pete had stated that it's a good bottled milk tea that's difficult to find outside of Japan, and he suggested the reference was a playful attempt at getting a sponsorship. But all in essence, the song encouraged listeners to stay strong, resilient, and alert in face of adversity, while the royal milk tea reference, with the royal milk tea reference adding a touch of humor and playfulness to the message. And it's a good message too. It's like the song's kind of catchy, but I'm gonna be kind of strict on this because it's really not the best album, like I said. But I gave it a 7 out of 10. I know that's kind of being harsh because, like, this is 2018, and not really a lot of people were on this album like they were on So Much for Stardust a few years ago. But I gave it a 7 out of 10 just to be generous, just to be nice, and yeah. So let's go on to track number two. So track number two is the last of the real ones. This one's kind of a different take, I guess, if you want to call it that. But this one person kind of put it clear here. When you're a complete mess, but the one perfect person suddenly takes you from the darkness, and because they're everything you have now, you start to idolize him or them. Maybe you become too obsessed, because like one of the lyrics is, "I know this whole damn city thinks it needs you, but not as much as I do." Basically, seems like you imply that you want that person just for yourself because you depend on their presence in your life way too much, to the point it may scare the person. I wonder if your therapist knows everything about me, but it's just how much you need them. Just tell me, tell me, tell me. I am the only one, even if it's not true. One of the song lyrics there. You just need to feel like you mean something to them too, and you'd rather have them in your idolized visions than open your eyes for a second. And that's kind of a good little like overall like I guess message. Because like if you have that one person that like gets you out of the doldrums and gets you out of the darkness and all that stuff, and it's like oh my gosh, like I love you and I want to idolize you, and also if it's like you want them for yourself, you don't want them to go see their friends or something like that. It's kind of like a psychopath, like kind of like if you want to call it like clingy, you want to call it clingy. But I mean, that's a good like little like song there. It's kind of like, I think somebody else has said like it's kind of like about superheroes in a way too. Um, but I gave this song a 6. I know that's kind of being harsh. But yeah, that's what I just think about it. I didn't really care for the song. It was just one of those things where it's just like, it's okay, just take it or leave it. One of those like songs that you could probably just skip and wouldn't bat an eye. So on to track number 3 is called "Hold Me Tight or Don't." This one's kind of a similar vein of the last of the real ones. It kind of expresses a desperate need for connection and a longing for human touch, even if it's not resuscitated or romantic. The song suggests a desire for comfort and a reassurance in a chaotic world, with the speaker yearning for someone to just simply be there for them, regardless of any deeper emotional connection, which is kind of true in today's world sometimes. But here's a little bit more of a breakdown little thing. Um, the lyrics, "I got too high again when I realized I can't be with you," slash or just be your friend, indicate a strong emotional need to be with someone just beyond a friendship, beyond just a friendship. The line, "The distance between us, it sharpens me like a knife," highlights the pain of separation and the speaker's desire for physical closeness and comfort, which is still true. The song explores a willingness to risk rejection or disappointment by reaching out for that connection, as it's shown in the lines, "I love you to death, but I just can't pretend," and "Hold me tight or don't." That's the acceptance of risk, because it's like high risk, high reward sort of thing. Because like you just never know until you try, That's with like a lot of dating apps today. Um, excuse me. With like some people, like they're just like trying to go out on a limb. They're like, hey, like I like you, and it's like I want to be there for you and all that stuff. But it's just like sometimes like you need that like connection with that other person, be like, hey, like I know you don't really know me that well, but it's like, hey, I'm here for you, and if you need to talk, let's talk, sort of thing. It also deals with like themes of loneliness and vulnerability too, like the lyrics, we were lovers first, confidants but never friends, we were never friends," reveals a sense of vulnerability and a questioning of the nature of that relationship or their relationship. Um, it also has like a human need touch to it. The phrase "I just need someone to hold me," even if, emphasizes that the basic human need for physical touch and emotional support. It's still in the exact same vein of like acceptance of risk. It's like one of those like high risk high reward sort of thing too, like I just said. um but it's a very good, like, I guess, message behind it too, because like when we do these breakdown episodes and all this, it's like we go deep into like going into the song lyrics and like breaking it down like piece by piece, like I said, and kind of like just analyzing the emotional context or the lyrical context behind it, just for you guys to like, hey, like like this is what this song means to somebody, or it could be something different to somebody else. That's the whole point of a breakdown episode. Because like when we do these, it's like it could be something that's like really kick ass and all that stuff, but then when you look in between the lines, it kind of turns out being like more sympathetic or more emotional behind it. And that's why I love doing these, because it's like it's pretty freaking awesome. But with that being said, the overall score on this song, I gave it 7.5 out of 10. I actually liked this song, because it kind of resonates with me a little bit. I mean, we all have that risk of acceptance and all that stuff in our lives too. But yeah, let's go on to track number 4. So on to track number 4. It is called "Wilson," in parentheses, expensive mistakes. Now, this one's kind of a, I guess if you want to call it a kind of uppity kind of song a little bit. But this song in particular is about the desire to run away from a messy, complicated reality, perhaps maybe even unsatisfying relationship. The lyrics itself suggest a yearning for a simpler life and willingness to make expensive mistakes to escape. The title refers to the band's earlier work, including a song called "The New Romance" in a movie called The Youngblood Chronicles. That whole Youngblood Chronicles saga is on the Save Rock and Roll album, which is a very, very good album. I go suggest that one over this one, if that makes any sense. And the whole Youngblood Chronicles saga, the whole every video was it was a different continuation of the next song and all, which is actually kind of cool. But a little bit of a breakdown in this particular song. So the desire to escape. The song uses imagery of running away and just wanting to wear black and wine to express a longing for solitude and a break from the current situation. The phrase expensive mistakes suggests that the narrator is willing to make costly decisions or choices that could be damaging in order to achieve their desired escape. You could probably take that into account with a lot of people's situations or relationships nowadays, where it's if you're in that situation where you feel like you can't get out, it's there's always a way out. I'm not saying it's going to be the best decision, but if you put yourself first and you're trying to make that desired escape, then it's a costly error or it's an expensive mistake, but it will get you out of that doldrum or that sadness that you're currently in. The band's lyrics and imagery often include internal jokes and or references to their past work as a way to connect with their die-hard fans, which is actually kind of true. Case in point, this Wilson Expensive Mistakes song, which is actually kind of cool. I thought that was kind of funny. And the music video for this song is a parody of an infomercial with the band selling off items from their past. This adds another layer of humor and self-deprecating commentary to the song's message. And I tend to agree. It's actually kind of funny. This song in particular, I kind of liked this one more so. But I did give it, excuse me, I did give it an 8 out of 10. I'm so sorry for coughing in you guys' ears, sorry. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I did enjoy this one a little bit more. First two was okay, and then Hold Me Tight or Don't, which was it was like a kind of continuation of the previous song, and then kind of going into this one and all stuff, which was kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, no more notes on that. Going into track number 5, which is called Church. So that song in particular, called Church, like I said, is track number 5, and we are halfway through this album. Thank God. I know that's kind of being down on it and all stuff, but it's it was kind of a chore to kind of get through. But this song in particular, Church, is a love song that experiences or explores the complexities or a drama of a relationship, which is kind of true. It is like church. It's characterized by its grand musical arrangement and a lyrical style that's been described as both generic and repetitive, but yet still impactful. The song was inspired by a homework assignment from bassist Pete Wentz, who wanted a song that captured the feeling of a scene from the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which that's a very, very good movie. So there's the song is fundamentally about love, with the lyrics focusing on a passionate but possibly destructive relationship, which that's a lot of relationships nowadays. Musically, Church is designed to be sweeping and dramatic, but with a strong force on melody and instrumentation. Jesus Christ. But also, while the lyrics are relatively simple, some have interpreted them as having a darker, even sinful undertone. And plus, the process and inspiration. Pete Wentz's role in the song's creation is key, with the song being a response to a request for a song with a song with a specific cinematic feel inspired by the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And the contrast is the song is often placed strategically on albums like Heaven's Gate to create a contrast between the destructive lip service and genuine pleading love, which is kind of true. I gave Church 7.5 out of 10. And if you don't know what the rankings are and all stuff, 10 is the worst. No, 1 is the worst, 10 being the best. That's always on a song ranking thing, too. But with the breakdowns and all stuff, it's sometimes it's if a song is not that good, we always usually rank it low. But if the song is really good, it's go way up high. But yeah, it's halfway through the album, and it's kind of getting a little bit better. It's starting to get a little bit more manageable. But like I said, it's kind of getting a chore to get through. But let's just see if this next song was a little bit more of a safe haven. Let's just say that. So on to track number 6. It is called Heaven's Gate. Like in the previous song that we just talked about, Church, is kind of it was a compare and contrast between Church and Heaven's Gate. When you go into church, and stuff, it's you're praying to God, and when you get baptized and all that stuff, it's you're blessed in the eyes of the Lord and all that stuff. But then it's when you go to heaven, you're reaching Heaven's Gate, and it's kind of you would think it's the song, or the song title Heaven's Gate, you would think oh, it's got to be religious or something, but it's not. It's really not. So the meaning behind it is it's often interpreted as a song about loss, heartbreak, and the feeling of being unworthy of love and salvation. But the lyrics paint a picture of a man who has lost his place in heaven due to a destructive relationship, and the realization that he has loved someone more than God. Which, if you love somebody more than God, then that's a shame on you. So a little breakdown here. The song explores the idea of losing a sense of innocence and feeling spiritually lost due to a destructive love relationship. The narrator feels they have done something to lose their place in heaven. And if you look at the lyrics, it's very it conveys a sense of guilt and a self deprecation for the narrator, because they have acknowledged they have loved somebody more than God, suggesting a betrayal of religious faith in a sense. The song also conveys a sense of despair and the struggle to find meaning and purpose in the face of heartbreak, and the feeling of being unworthy. And plus the emotional turmoil behind it too, because the whole song explores the emotional turmoil of the narrator as they grapple with the loss of a loved one and the feeling that they have been punished for their choices. And it's you don't really think about that much. You think some of these songs are like I said, and some of the other ones, it's very uppity and very yeah, woo, and all this stuff, but then it's when you think of it lyrically and read between the lines, it's very, I guess, if you want to call it, just kind of self-deprecated. I give this song a 7 out of 10, only because of the I guess the music video, I guess, if there is a music video. But it's with Church and Heaven's Gate, I think you could I guess interlude them together. That would have been way cooler. But that's what we get, and all that stuff. So on to song number 7. We are in Champion. So with the song Champion, it explores like themes of empowerment, overcoming adversity, and believing in oneself, especially in the face of disbelief or doubt. The song's lyrics, however, particularly the chorus, emphasize the idea that champions aren't born but forged through hardship and perseverance, which that is true. The song touches on the feeling of being underestimated or doubted, but ultimately rising to the challenge and achieving success. The lyrics also kind of highlight the importance of believing in oneself when others don't, and finding the strength to persevere through difficult times. With like some of the songs that we had just went over, like with like relationships and hardships and all that stuff, like losing loved ones, like like when you lose a loved one, it's like you think like, oh man, like I can't go on living like this, and also it's like I feel like I just want to like not be here, and that's not really the answer. And with Fall Out Boy's songs, it's like you trying to, I guess you can like in a way you can, I guess, put yourself in their shoes, because like when you hear some of these songs and you think about yourself in that person's shoes or that narrator's shoes. Like, what would you do in their situation? You know what I'm saying? And like this song in particular, Champion, is like when you're the underdog, you're underestimated and doubted. But then, like when you rise to the occasion and you ultimately defeat, that dragon or that monster or that video game or something like that, and when you think like all hope is lost, you're like, okay, like look, like I started at square one, I'm working my way up, but then it's like there's always that challenges coming your way, and it's like trying to put you down, but with the song in particular, like I said, Champion aims to inspire listeners to believe in their own abilities and to strive for greatness regardless of the odds. So, like, some of the specific lines and themes in this is like, if I can live through this, I can do anything. The line, like, in my head, champions aren't born, but they're forged, emphasizes the idea that strength and ability are developed through experience and struggle, which is true. The if I can live through this, I can do anything. Repeated in the chorus reinforces the idea of overcoming adversity. The lyrics also can allude to the idea of being a chosen one, but in a way that emphasizes self-reliance rather than defined fate, which that is true. And this song is also featured in 2K19, which is kind of funny, because I was just playing that the other day, and I happened to hear Champion on that album or that game, and I was like, wow, I was like, that's some flashbacks right there. But I give this song an 8 out of 10. It's like up there with Wilson for me. Both songs are really good in their own right. But I highly suggest seeking Champion out or Wilson Expensive Mistakes. So we are on to track number 8 now. It is Sunshine Riptide. This one's kind of a tricky one because it doesn't really have a agree on like universal like official meaning to it, but the lyrics are open to interpretation. But it generally explores the themes of sinking into a destructive relationship or lifestyle while seemingly enjoying the surface level aspects. The song title itself uses a contrast sunshine, suggesting happiness and warmth, while riptide implies a dangerous, powerful, and destructive force. The lyrics seem to capture this dynamic, suggesting a situation where someone is knowingly or unknowingly drawn into a dangerous situation, but is still seemingly enjoying the moment, highlighting the potential of a self-sabotage within a relationship or lifestyle choice. I'm sensing a theme with all these some of these songs here. It is about like relationships and all stuff. I don't know if it's like some of the band members were going through hardships or relationships hardships at this time. But it kind of shows here. Um, I gave this song a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna kind of be short and sweet and simple on this one, because there's not really much of a meaning behind it. But like I said, like lyrics are open to interpretation. So let us know what you guys think, like what the Sunshine Riptide means in the comments down below. But yeah, we're moving on to Young and Menace. Alright, so we're on the last two tracks. Track number 9, Young and Menace. This one is gonna be kind of a little tricky one as well, kind of. This one's kind of exploring the themes of like finding your own place in the world, feeling like an outsider, and overcoming social expectations. Um, the song's lyrics and the accompanying music video suggesting a feeling of being marginalized or misunderstood with a yearning to find your own identity and community. That is with like a lot of teenagers nowadays, because like they feel like they don't have a place in this world sometimes. Like going through teenage adolescence, or the angst teen phase, if you want to call it that. The lyrics hint at a feeling of quite not belonging, uh, questioning the world's expectations and the pressure to conform. The song also suggests a determination to break free from limitations and finding your own path, even if it means challenging the status quo. Which is true. Sometimes you have to overcome adversity sometimes and find your own place in this world. In the music video, there's a young kid experiencing domestic violence in that video, and their parents are dressed like monster llamas. Further reinforce the theme of feeling like an outsider and questioning the involvement or environment in which one is raised. But if you do seek out that video, I will say that is a viewer's discretion is advised sort of thing. If you do not want to watch that sort of thing, just click off right out of that video and go find something else. You have been warned if you want to watch that video. And also finding a community in that within these lyrics too. The lyrics also suggest a desire to connect with others who feel similarly marginalized, and finding solace and in understanding in shared experiences. So, with that also being said, this song, I didn't really care for it really. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I know that's kind of being harsh, due to like the overall like themes and stuff behind it. I just thought, this was kind of just, it was just kind of middle of the road for me. But yeah, let's go on to the last track and let's wrap this shit show up, or shall I say, shit of an album up. So we are on the last song of this album, and it's called Bishop's Knife Trick. If you look at the lyrics or the lyrical content behind it, it is very dealing with a kind of a dark topic a little bit. And the topic that it is about, the S word, suicide. So this person on Reddit, was trying to think about like what it could mean, and they said like, but what if I told you it isn't as bright as you thought it was? Sorry if I ruined everybody's day from reading this, but they think that Bishop's Knife Trick, it tackles a very dark topic called suicide. So they started with the lyric like, I'm just a full tank away from freedom. If we go into the annotation to the line on Genius, someone has suggested that it was suggested the following: during the chorus, Patrick sings, "These are the last blues you're gonna have, and we can soon blues stand for pills." So the storyteller is just a tank of pills away from suicide, because he thinks that only death can give him the freedom from the pain he feels. Yeah, like, that's some pretty dark shit. It's kind of grim when you think about it, and it's about not having to feel sadness ever again, forever. Another lyric, I got a feeling inside that I can't discriminate. Sorry if I butchered that. Because I don't want to live in a cage of feeling that I can't housebreak. What's that feeling? It could be a crazed soul clamoring for eternal freedom. This album is truly an ode to the millions suffering from anxiety and depression, like we've never seen before. And then he said, "Sorry again if I ruined anybody's day." Um, the just it's when you think about some of these songs, it's just like it's just crazy. Um, but another person had said, this is kind of also about some suggestive stuff, but it could be about like mental illness and suicide. And it is basically about suicide. Kind of that's a fair warning, sort of thing. But yeah, it's like when you think about it, it's like it's just really really dark stuff. Um, it's like and it's like one of those like topics that you can't tap dance around, even if you tried. Um, it's one of those things where it's like I said, you can't tap dance around if you tried. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Um, and I'm trying to be generous here because it's about that word. And plus it's a trigger warning. If you did not want to like hear about that, I'm so sorry. And if you don't want to watch this video, I totally understand. You can go click on something else on our channel. Um, but yeah, let's just kind of wrap this up so we can try to go about our day. So with that being said, this album it was kind of tricky to get through. Not gonna lie, but I tallied up all the scores and got a clear, definitive number. And this one's kind of a bad one. It's a 72. That's not very good. Some of the songs were pretty good. Some of the others were not. But that's with every album, like some songs are better than others. Um, the two like sort of standouts to me was Wilson, Expensive Mistakes, and Champion, which that's the obvious one. Um, but yeah, some of these songs like it has to do with love and relationships, but some of them have to do with mental illness and all that stuff. So if this album is your cup of tea or royal milk tea, I would suggest it if you want to listen to it. But if you haven't listened to it in a long time, just have a real refresher, then go for it. I don't care. So, with that being said, thank you very, very much for listening and or watching. If you made it to the end of this video, we do really appreciate it. Please make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on all social medias and it's in the link tree in the description below, which will take you to our Instagram page, Twitter page, the Reddit podcast page. Jesus Christ. My gaming YouTube page, which I'm almost at 1550, which is really freaking awesome. And yeah, I think that is it. Oh wait, song of the night. Let's see. If it's a Fall Out Boy episode, let's just go with Champion, because that's gonna be an easy one. So that is song of the night tonight, Champion by Fall Out Boy, and that's it. And I will see you for Shoot the Shit. Coming this Sunday. We got a lot to talk about, especially WWE stuff, but I will see you for the next Shoot the Shit episode. Peace!